Hey everyone. So a few days ago, I sat down, on the internet with Matt Diggity. I feel a little embarrassed, honestly, because before I connected with Matt, maybe a few days before I interviewed him, I had no idea who he was. And in hindsight, I probably should have, and it's probably a testament to how narrowly focused I am. I had a great time interviewing him. He was a really genuine guy, and the honest truth is that he reached out to me because he was interested in somehow trying to find a way to contribute or help in some way the victims of the income store thing. And while Matt and I were chatting about the various options, meaning there just aren't that many, I asked him to just come on the channel. I figured this would be a great way for him to introduce himself, and if there were folks like me out there who didn't know who he was. I mean, this guy is a website investor. He's a website flipper. I mean, he's not currently building websites from scratch right now, but he knows how to do it. He's buying websites that already exist and building them up. He tests everything. If you are building, buying, selling, flipping, investing, this is a guy that you should know. This is a guy that you should follow. Anyway, what you will see in this about 40 to 45 minute talk is me talking to Matt Diggity about all of the things that I'm interested in, that the viewers of this channel might be interested in, and hopefully somewhere in this thing you might even learn something. And so here we go. Matt, I'm going to tell a story that I just told you a few minutes ago when we were chatting to get going, and everybody who's watching this, Matt reached out to me about a week ago, and to talk just a little bit about the income store, and just to mention that he'd seen some of my videos, and I, of course, like my normal self, was like, thanks, and I live under a rock, like I have no idea who you are. And Matt is, now that I did my research, I see that Matt is the super experienced guy, and I'm thrilled that he reached out to me, right? But I still had no idea until preparing for this interview anything about you. So I have a feeling, though, because of sort of the rock that I hide under and the audience that follows me, I think there are a lot of people who might not know very much about you. So please start us out and just tell us a bit about yourself and why it is that this is going to be an awesome interview.
Oh, awesome is quite a adjective. I don't know if I can deliver that, but I will tell you about my backstory, and I will tell you what I have to do with affiliate marketing and SEO and content generation, website stuff like that.
Awesome. Whatever. Just tell us. Hit me.
Yeah. So before I ever got into this stuff, I was an engineer working for a Silicon Valley company, electrical engineer, doing the 60-hour weeks in the cubicle and all that kind of stuff. And eventually just really needed to move into something where I had freedom of time and location. I just got burnt out. Like I just saw there's no sustainability in this job. So the first thing I got into was affiliate marketing via the vehicle of search engine optimization. So not through email marketing, not through anything else. It was just ranking websites. And this was back in about 2009. Had some success with it, and eventually had enough success to make me feel comfortable to quit my job and start pursuing this SEO career full time. And this was about 2011. Pulled the trigger completely and sold all my crap and decided let's take this on the road. Not that this is some kind of band or anything, but
Basically you're living the dream now, right? All the dream of all, like the laptop lifestyle sort of deal.
yeah, I guess you could say so. Although I have settled down in Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is a great place to be if you're an SEO, by the way. I would say it's the SEO capital of the world.
Why?
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 I think it was just by chance. So when I came here, I was so burnt out. I was like, right off the bat, I'm going to take a year off. So I'm just going to take a year off because I deserve this. I've worked enough for 3 lifetimes. So let's just sip coconuts and just chill out for a year. That didn't work because I started to go crazy. So then I just reached out in one of the Facebook groups and I was like, who's in Chiang Mai that does SEO? I want to meet up with people. And at the time it was like Viper Chill, Glenn Alsop, Diggy Dirk, a whole bunch of key players in the business, Daryl Rosser, a bunch of guys doing really well at the time, and still are doing well.
Yeah, so, I'd say I don't know the names, so you're name dropping right now, and they're just like flying over my head. Like I feel like I should know these folks, but like these are sort of the people who are the big players as the growth of this market, right? They're at the foundation of this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely check out Viper Chill. Like that guy can't write a bad word of content, and he's one of the best SEOs that I know.
Awesome.
So anyways, I'm in Chiang Mai and I realized, okay, there's tons of SEOs here. I guess I'm not doing anything regarding retiring. So let's get back into this. And so from here in a base in Thailand and being surrounded by SEOs, I just went all in on SEO and really developed a company called LeadSpring, which is a company that's fully set up to building, ranking, and monetizing and flipping affiliate content websites. That's all we do in and out. It's an agency.
You know, that comment though about being in Chiang Mai and being surrounded by high-level SEOs really highlights, I think, the importance of surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Like you tend to, you sink to your own level, or the water rises, like it always equalizes. So if you're going to hang out with, the beach bums who aren't doing anything except drinking, I mean, what else are you going to do? But if you find yourself coincidentally in Chiang Mai surrounded by some of the best SEOs in the world, like what else could you possibly do? But you can't beat them, join them, sort of deal. I mean, what a great way to get started.
Yeah, feel pretty blessed having the community, and I'm doing my best to try to keep that going and make it even bigger in Chiang Mai. I have a conference called the Chiang Mai SEO Conference.
I saw that actually. I saw there was a really neat YouTube video that you kind of did. There was I think it was focusing on the mastermind that you were doing there in China. It was like a 3-minute clip just showing a little bit about what was going on there. And I wondered, because you, in one of your other interviews that you've given, you are a self-professed introvert. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so how does a self-professed introvert engineer basically become like the figurehead of a conference and all of these companies and have a YouTube channel and give so many interviews? Like, I really have to know how it is that you flip that switch and become that person.
I mean, it's never going to turn off. I'm nervous right now, right? So I'm not completely comfortable. Yeah, my hands are sweaty. There's no doubt about it. But I guess with a little bit of practice, it starts to become normal. What I consider to be freak out level is now a little bit higher. So, but I don't know. It takes a lot of practice, and especially like doing something like public speaking. Once you handle that, then other things get easier. But still, that's terrifying to this day. Absolutely.
Well, it's amazing because you can't tell at all. I mean, and I in a hurry, because I had like 4 or 5 days to get ready for this. Like, I mass consumed a bunch of podcasts. Like, and you are very generous with your time, by the way. There are lots of people out there who you've given time to just chat with and tell your story. And so I don't know. I cannot tell you how many times I've reached out to somebody and asked, say, hey, do you have some time to come on the channel? And one, not even get a response back that's polite that says, sorry, I'm busy. But most of the time after that, it's people are like, no, because I don't think I have enough followers. I don't have a, big enough audience to really make a difference for them. And so I just noticed that I've seen you out there a lot, especially with smaller creators. And I just think that's really awesome.
Well, for you is a no-brainer, because I appreciate the hustle you got and what you're doing, bringing to light, helping a bunch of people that are in a tough situation. So that was me approaching you, and I wanted just to give you a high five, and then you asked if I wanted to come on, and boom, there it is. And yeah, it was a no-brainer. Like, sure, absolutely. I'd be happy to. And at the end of the day, like, just going back to an engineer, I didn't highlight how bad it was for me. So I'm still on a mission to see what I can do on however I can deliver some amount of freedom to other people that might be in a similar situation. So
this isn't just about making money then. You're really thinking about people who were just like you are, who are living every day just like you were, and you're thinking, okay, I want to throw down the ladder, throw down the rope, and pull these guys back up with me. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a big stand for freedom. I would say that. I'm a big stand for personal freedom, and especially like what we're doing with all of our time. Like, the job is where we spend most of our time, except for sleeping. That we should at least enjoy it. I can't tell you how many people I know, and having been there myself, who just literally hate every minute of being at work. How could you spend your whole life like that, just hating every minute of what you are doing all day? Yeah. It's mind-boggling. Right. Well, we touched on, so I cut you off when you were talking about your story, but I feel like that's not the most interesting thing about you. I want to ask you about some other things, because I feel like you tell your story a lot, and I don't want to waste time talking about your story. But you did reach out to me about Income Store, and I'm wondering how comfortable you are talking about the Income Store situation without doing anything slanderous or libelous. Let's find out. I don't know. Well, You said that you reached out to me, just to, I guess I'm making a conclusion, a bold conclusion, that you wanted to praise me for my content or trying to help people. And, I just wondered, what is it that you think overall about how this came about and how this could possibly have happened?
Well, I mean, I had thought about investing in Income Store at some point too. I mean, on the offer is a no-brainer. Like, okay, I can put money in it. No matter what, it's secure. Like, no
Hmm.
matter what, if the site tanks, it'll get replaced. So I mean, it's not like anyone's silly for getting into it. I mean, it was set up really, really nicely. So I mean, I guess that's why it would be. It's just an offer that made sense.
Well, the thing about this is that a lot of the investors have reached out to me and have mentioned that people are very harsh on them for getting sucked into this. They
Mm,
basically, heard things like, "How stupid are you for doing this?" And I have said many times exactly what you said, which is, yeah, it was did they did say the words guarantee, and there were flags there, but there was so much else about the company and the way they were set up. They were set up to overcome any objection that you could possibly
mm,
raise as far
mm,
as concerns about money or about the viability of the business. I mean, a friend of mine who I've been talking with, he even went there to their offices. He's like,
mm,
"I want to see your operation to make sure that you guys are secure before investing," before he lost
mm,
his money. Like, they were really set up to take everybody.
mm. I wouldn't feel bad, and don't listen to that kind of hate. I mean, at the end of the day, people are busy. Like, I don't have time to fly somewhere and just make sure every single thing that I do, or every single box of cereal that I buy, or every single toothbrush I'm about to use is properly made and stuff like that. Like, in general with these kind of mistakes, hindsight's 2020. But there's, I mean, typically, at least the way I operate is I like to take jumps, and I would only know that I'm supposed to look into words like guarantee, or how they set up the operations, or the kind of objection raising that their objection quelching that they're giving, if I had got burnt before. So I haven't got burnt before, so I'm, I'm equally as likely to jump into something like this as anyone else.
So what stopped you then?
I so the only thing that stopped me is I had a buddy that put in a decent amount,
Mhm.
and I asked him, like, how is it going? And my buddy's an SEO, and he's like, well, I asked them some SEO questions, and they didn't agree with my strategy. So I was like, well, my buddy's a good SEO, so that was a red flag to me.
Mhm.
So that, and I know I'm a control freak, so I know if, like, this is what I do day in, day out. I would love to put my money in something and then just have it be a set it and forget it. And it's always going to raise. But if they're not doing proper SEO, then that would be an issue for me. That said, I'm not saying that they were doing improper SEO. I know some of the operators that were working there. They're smart SEOs. That said, I just don't know. I felt like they wouldn't have been able to give me the attention that, or give my property the attention it might have needed if they're going big scale.
Yeah. And that was a concern, I think, for a lot of people too. Um, from your experience then, is there any advice you could give to somebody who might be watching this video, sitting in the seat of somebody who just got their ass handed to them in this income store stuff, lost six figures of money, but they're still interested, like they believe in this model? Like, what sort of advice could you offer with your experience?
Hmm. Question. I don't know what the status is. Do these investors have their sites now? Do they have their website still? Or
And to my knowledge, the answer is no. At this point, as I understand it, the receiver is working out to get approval from the court to start being able to make deals to get those websites into the hands of the people who should have them. But as far as I know, those website owners do not have control over their sites yet.
hmm. Let's hypothetically imagine that they did, because that's a more interesting question. If they didn't, then they're just starting from ground zero. And the question is, do you want to do it again with someone else? So let's imagine the site is back in their wheelhouse. They have ownership of it. They can log in, all that kind of stuff. The way I look at it, there's probably three different ways you can go. The first one would be you learn SEO, you become the operator, you try to grow the website if it's an SEO website. I know they did some drop shipping type stuff and other kind of things as products, perhaps, I'm not sure. But let's imagine we're talking about SEO. You can learn SEO and become the operator itself. Number two would be you can find an agency. So an agency that does outsourced SEO, just let them start working on it for you. Number three would be you find an operator, someone to JV with, and instead of just paying them cash monthly like an agency would, you would probably pay them less cash and give them maybe a budget and stipend, and then give them equity to make up for the lack of monthly retainer. They all have their pros and cons. Actually, no, I'm going to say that the first one, become the operator itself, is highly stacked up with a bunch of cons. And why is that? Because I'm assuming a lot of the investors don't have experience with SEO. And I'll have to say, in my experience of 11 years of doing SEO, I very, very rarely see someone that's able to be something else, a lawyer, be a dentist, be a doctor, and also be a good SEO. It's a full-time gig, and whatever is sorted out, whatever you know right now is not even guaranteed to be working a year from now. It's a constantly evolving thing. It takes a lot of time, a lot of testing. You just got to live it and breathe it. So I would say for most people, cross that off unless you're just super geeked out on it and really want to dig into it, then that might be a good option for you.
What if they wanted to track down and find an operator? I mean, do you have any advice for them about how to find a good operator to partner with?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So I would say the best way to approach this is hang out in the right places. First of all, you need to be working with existing affiliates. So you want people that have a track record. If you go to my Facebook group, Affiliate SEO Mastermind, there's going to be tons of affiliate marketers in there with a lot of success. If you go to my course, Affiliate Lab, there's people smashing it all the time in there. So you got to hang out in the right places, and need to know how to identify the right people. Now, in my opinion, when I'm buying a website, or if I were in your shoes trying to find an operator for a website, I would let the money talk. I would let past success dictate whether I find that this is a good fit or not. And what I would ask is, okay, what kind of websites have you sold before? What websites have you flipped before? Because if a website flip happens, then a third party source would take a look at a P&L and verify that, okay, this guy has gotten a website to make $10,000 a month in this niche, which we know is challenging. This is the kind of SEO tactics that were used and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you're just going off of someone's word and saying like, yeah, I can rank this niche, or yeah, that sounds good. But if he's had a sale, then there's a record of this happening that's verifiable.
So then, I don't want to say the word demand, but requesting to maybe speak then with that other third party, or to get documentation confirming the amount of the money of the transaction.
I would. I mean, the seller would have that on hand already. And yeah, I mean, and I'm sure whoever sold Empire Flippers, whose t-shirt you're wearing, or whoever it might be, would be
that was an accident. I didn't do that on purpose. I just happened to be wearing.
Serendipity. Yeah, I'm sure they would be happy to, say like, yeah, he sold with us and he sold this many times and he's a good seller, or not.
Well, I just want to talk briefly about Affiliate Lab then, because you brought it up, and I have access to Affiliate Lab at this point. And I do want to say that I think the Facebook group is super valuable. And the reason I say this is because I have for a long time belonged to lots of blogging groups on Facebook, but they're the free ones. And what you find in the free ones is there are a lot of beginners in there, which is great when you are a beginner because you have really similar questions as the beginners. But I am finding, and probably like a lot of people, that I've outgrown them. And it was hard for me to imagine ever wanting to belong to a paid Facebook group. And now that I am a part of one, I can totally see how valuable that is.
Sure. Yeah, the folks in the Affiliate Lab, I put out a poll, I think around December, and just to get a feel for where everyone's at in the hierarchy of like how successful they are with affiliate SEO. And the highest bracket was people making between $20,000 and $50,000 a month. The second highest was $100,000 a month. And then it kind of like tapered down after that. That shocked me. I was just trying to figure out, what level of content, how advanced I need to keep producing. And it seems like it's pretty high. So there's a lot of people in there doing really good. A lot of people even doing better than I am in there.
Yeah, well, it goes back to what we were talking about the SEOs in Chiang Mai. Like, you should be hanging around the people that you want to be. You want to go up with them rather than, so for me, like, hanging out with people who are brand new doesn't make sense anymore because I have more skills than I did when I joined those groups. So
Sure.
I guess it would be a plug for people, not necessarily to join Affiliate Lab or anything, but to consider the value of a paid Facebook group. And especially for investors too, who might be looking to move forward and have been relying 100% on free groups or free YouTube videos, that there is value in investing the right amount to get around other people who are like-minded.
Yeah, the way I look at it too is all the SEO information that you would need to rank a website is findable for free on the internet. The only issue with that is just not laid out from start to finish. It's not just like, here's what you do and then follow like that. It's never laid out like that. You're gonna have to piece it together. The second, probably more annoying issue is you don't know what is real and what's not. Like, a lot of people theorize about SEO and just will put something out there on the internet because it makes sense, right? Well, you should do this to your website because this logically sounds like it could work. But at the end of the day, this is an algorithm. You can test it. And you should look at SEO as an engineer, as it's a black box. Apply some inputs, look at the outputs, and try to figure out what happened in the middle. That's the only way to really approach SEO. And unfortunately, it's not, that approach isn't common knowledge or common practice across the internet.
So back to then the sort of income store investors. From having talked with a lot of these folks, there are some people, like I said, who are completely out, who are done, who are going to have to spend a bunch of time saving money to try again. I know many of them are motivated to do that, but then there are several individuals who are still prepared and ready to potentially invest six figures again. And they're trying to figure out right now how to network and how to actually find a deal. And so if we assume that these people are basically beginners, again, starting from scratch with six figures looking to invest in websites, and where should they go to start? Where is the starting place with somebody who has cash but very little operation experience? Where should these people go?
So, okay, going back to the various options that you might have, like, you could learn it yourself. And if we're talking about learning how to do it yourself, like, for sure, get some assistance from some kind of training program, some kind of course. It's just going to shotgun your learning curve. It's going to launch you past a whole bunch of bullshit. I think every SEO can probably attest that their first website crashes and burns. You do not want to do that. Yeah, me too, for sure. You do not want to take that penalty on a website you just purchased for six figures, right? You want to get it right the first time out of the box. So that's why I'm kind of like, just skip all that, go with an agency or an operator. The value with the agency is they'll get the job done, especially if you find a reputable one that specializes in affiliate marketing and affiliate websites. Like, they'll get the job done. But I find that probably in order to make financial sense for the agency to rank your website, they're probably going to have a moderate growth curve or a stable rankings. Like, it's just a law of numbers, right? They have to be able to make a profit, and then they can't invest as much as someone who has equity in it. So probably the more logical place would be to go with an operator. Now, finding the operator is difficult, but I would definitely set up some kind of deal with them where you're offering something like, a fair way to do it would probably be the operators getting some kind of monthly $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, plus all the costs. So the content costs, the link costs are fronted by the website owner, and then getting some sliver of the equity. Maybe that's 20, 30, 40%. I don't know about these numbers. I've never structured anything like that, but that would sound appetizing to me from an operator's point of view. And I think
so doing a stipend rather than a percentage of revenue.
Well, so there's other ways to do it too. So LeadSpring, my company, that does JVs all the time, like we typically take on JVs where we will take on the cost of the SEO, but we're asking 50%, and it could be someone's full business. Just want to let you know that this JV partnership is not open, so please don't spam me. But I definitely think that you can find operators, especially in the right SEO groups. That we talked about the Affiliate Labs SEO group, Facebook group, but you can also just go on the public one, Affiliate SEO Mastermind, and find people left and right.
Do you have any potential referrals? Like you can say, hey, these folks are awesome and they are looking into doing partnerships right now?
I don't know. I mean, the only person I know that's really like the doors open right now is Onfolio, which is run by Dom Wells. But I didn't mention that right out the gate because probably the last thing these folks want to do is just, let's do the same thing I just did last time and find another portfolio company. That said, Dom is speaking at Chiang Mai SEO Conference this year, and he knows what he's doing, and I can't imagine his business not working, but they also don't have guarantees and stuff like that.
Well, I think a lot of these folks are in a place where they're going to have to make a decision pretty quickly about whether or not they want to take the site. And part of that will be making sure they have a plan, right? So if these folks can't find an operator, then they may just decide to go ahead and punt on the site and say, okay, receiver, you can take my site back, you can sell it, and I'll just get in line to try to hope that I will get some money, because ultimately they could end up with a site and have no idea what to do with it at all.
Yeah. And sites that get no attention definitely tend to go downwards over time. Well, I don't think it would be difficult to sell the website. These things sell like hotcakes on marketplaces and stuff like that, especially, well, maybe things have changed a little bit, but stock market's pretty high. So investments like content websites are still really hot and they sell really easily. So I don't think you would just be stuck with a website that's just going to just sit there and tank and you can't do anything with it. You could always just offload it if you never found an operator.
Well, that's the thing, is these folks have never sold a website either. And so, it's not just a matter of saying, okay, I'm going to sell it, but how do they go about that? And certainly they can watch YouTube videos about selling sites, but where would you recommend that they start? I mean, there's several options for places to go, several brokers. I mean, I've had experience with Empire Flippers, and I can't say enough good things about them, but I know there are several other brokers out there. I mean, is there one that you say, I've had great experiences with these guys, and I'd say that if your site is making a certain amount of money, you should go here, and if you have a site that is in this range, like the smaller ones, you should go here?
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, I can only talk about what I've experienced, but I've sold with Empire Flippers multiple times, and I too had a great experience with it. The only other way I've sold is through private deals, but that's probably why learn a skill that you only use once, So just let the pros take care of it.
What if you have a site that is smaller, so is in the $10,000 to $30,000 range? Because there's a lot more options there, and there's a lot more private deal flow going on with sites that size. Where would be a good place for them to go? Somebody who is pretty green, who could easily be taken advantage of. I mean, I generally would not recommend that they go do a peer-to-peer sale unless they actually knew the individual.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But these, like you said, these ones there's a lot of deal flow flying left and right all the time in the Facebook group. So Affiliate SEO Masterminds, there people are buying and selling websites all the time. There's another one called Flippin' Websites run by alpha investors. So those would probably be a good places to at least just make a Facebook post. Say, this is what I'm selling. This is what I'm offering. Any buyers? That you do raise a legitimate concern. What if I sell to someone who does some little switcheroo thing with the transfer and stuff like that? I never use this, but a lot of people use escrow.com. It's kind of like a holding. You send the website here, they send the money here, and then they'll switch it around for you and you part ways happily. So that might be a good way to do it. But I think one of the biggest concerns for a website seller, especially if they've never done it before, is how much to evaluate it at. In general, content websites are typically selling at 30 to 40x monthly profit. That's monthly profit. So if it's making $500 a month, you're looking at 15,000, 20,000, something like that. So that's about a fair range. And then there's wiggle room depending on how stable the site is, how much does it have an email list, has it been penalized, does it have weird backlinks and stuff like that. But that's a general gauge on where you might be. When you're in the micro income levels, like it's just making like $40 to $50 a month, then doesn't really have a valuation model. It's not making enough for it to even fit these kind of models. So usually you're in a negotiation over emotions. Like, how much do I feel okay letting go of this site that I have some emotional attachment, maybe because I worked on it, or maybe because this whole income store fiasco, that kind of thing. And
So
so it's just bargaining.
I can see potentially a situation where there are some website owners who have a site that has a lot of traffic, but that has been poorly managed as far as revenue. So maybe they have a site that's getting 100,000 visitors a month, and you can look at all the potentially that's in there, and 100,000 visitors a month, but has been dramatically under monetized.
Yeah.
You know, what sorts of things could they do or try to do with the site before taking it to a broker or taking it to have someone look at it for sale?
Well, first thing they should do is just send it to me so I can buy that. No, there's a lot you can do with conversion rate optimization. So what's a good resource for that? I'm not sure of any good public resources on conversion rate optimization, but some things that I would do is, look at call to action colors. One big mistake I see on Amazon affiliate sites all the time is just how you're designing the call to action. So let's say I had a blue website, right? And a lot of people have a blue button that says check price on Amazon, right? So what are the bad things here? Well, number one, the button's blue. It's not going to stand out from the blue website. It's not going to pop off the page at all. So look at the color wheel, find something that's opposite but complementary, and use that for your call to action. It's going to pop off the page. Number two is, if I tell the reader check price on Amazon, well, guess what? They know where they can get this thing, and they'll check price on Amazon whenever they damn well please, right? So that could mean, okay, I'll get to it next weekend, then they forgot. But if you don't tell them what the price is, where they can get it, all these things, well, guess what they need to do? They need to click that button to find it out. So these are things that can double and sometimes even triple your click-through rates. So those kind of things there. And then as much as possible, try to find affiliate deals off Amazon, because the commission rates are going to be higher.
I'm going to shift gears a little bit. While you were talking about Amazon and buttons, I was thinking about the potential investor who's in there and they're thinking, okay, I have some writing skills. I've been watching them operate this site for a while. I want to start doing this, but maybe they don't have a lot of experience writing content about it. And something that I've sort of been chatting with other folks about and thinking myself is the ethics of being an affiliate and the ethics of creating content around products for our websites. And there is a ton of content out there that is being created by affiliates who have never touched a product. They have never used the product. And in fact, their articles, they never represent or let the reader know that I don't actually have any experience with this particular product. Do you see going forward in the future that there's going to be any sort of movement against reining back that type of content out there by affiliates?
You mean a movement by Google to try to give them less exposure, or maybe the audience for not trusting?
Or
something?
the FTC, as far as that being, misrepresenting sort of your experience, or because people are making money off of this content, right? They're, recommending products that they really don't have any experience with. And you could say that and my brain is tired from being at work all day, but it's misleading, basically.
Sure.
It's misleading content.
Sure. Well, this is 90% of the affiliate industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like men are writing about women's stuff, and non-vegans are writing about vegan stuff like all the time. Like, this is just the way it works in the industry. And that's not saying it's a good thing to do, but it's the fact of the matter. Now, where does the ethics draw the line? If someone goes the extent, they never tried the product, but they did all the research on the internet and compiled a mega compilation of every other review on the internet and made some synopsis out of it and tried to dig into it, is that considered ethical, or is that lying too? So there's got to be some gray area.
But I mean, it seems like the line would be, you know, be having some sort of disclosure, like we do with affiliate links, right? We have to
Mm,
disclose that this is an affiliate link and I make money if you click on it.
mm,
Disclosing at some point whether or not this is a compiled article versus I have tried this product. I mean,
mm.
that's the difference, right? Because I think that that type of article is really valuable, like a roundup article that puts a lot of information. They do hours of research. Like those are valuable articles. Like I would
Yeah.
hate to say you could not publish that, you shouldn't make money off of that because of the effort involved in it.
Mm.
But there's a lot of misrepresenting going on out there, and to me, I just wonder if moving forward that there's going to be pressure, maybe less so on affiliates, but more so on companies, like more
Mm.
so on Amazon to police its affiliates, or on these software companies to police their affiliates, to be more honest in their reviews or in their promotion of products.
The market may demand it anyways. So like whether or not it's policed, the the savviness and the conspicuousness or the inquisition of the average person is increasing. So that's where you're seeing sites like Wirecutter that are buying the routers and testing them and all that kind of stuff do well. And then I think there probably will be a trend towards more YouTube type reviews working, because you can't fake that. Like there's unboxing and all this kind of stuff. Here it is, me wearing this glove or whatever that might be. So I think the market might dictate it anyways.
Now, I have a really important question for you, and I don't know if you're going to want to answer it. So get ready.
Here we
You
go.
might need a sip of water, okay? This might be tough.
Okay, hold on.
You ready? I'm going to hit you with
Mm,
this.
mm.
Dance battles.
Oh, okay.
What on earth is dance battling something that you do like a lot? Or is this something that's just like this one-off sort of thing?
No, did you find the wedding video?
Of course I did.
Oh goodness. No, like back when I was at California, and like some people have hobbies playing board games, some people like to go skiing. I like to hip hop dance.
That's
So
awesome. No, I thought it was great. It just cracked me up because you've also professed to be an introvert, and dancing in front of a crowd to me is frightening. Like
mm,
it sounds like I would rather pull off my fingernails than do a dance battle because I would be so scared and so awful at it. And so I thought I would just mention that how awesome I thought that was.
maybe there was it was a front, maybe it was a cover. Maybe if I danced well, then I wouldn't have to approach girls, then they would come to me because I was so introverted.
Hey, guys who can dance, I think they do better. I just think they do better overall. So I digress. I live under a rock most of the time, and I definitely am not a guru or an expert. Seems like lots of people all of a sudden are talking about SEO Surfer.
Mm.
Are you using SEO Surfer, and why is it suddenly so awesome?
So I would say it's like this whole category of on-site optimization software that's powered by correlational SEO. Like
Mhm.
Google's made some moves to make it almost like every search result is homogeneous, right? If I Google top 5 ping pong tables, I'm going to say a listicle every single time. They're all going to have the same amount of words. They're all going to use the same words in certain uh, densities and stuff like that. They're all going to have different or similar H2s and talk about the same products. Like because Google's trying to match people up with what they're looking for, a lot of times what they're doing, it's kind of the same things again and again. So what these correlational softwares do is they'll find the patterns on page one and then give that back to you in a playbook sort of manner so you can make these decisions and make these changes to your own website.
Mhm.
Now, Surfer's but one of them. Surfer, in my community, there's Quora is popular, POP is popular too. I think the adoption of Surfer really took off because it's so user friendly that anyone can get it at no matter what level you're at SEO. And not only that is you can pass that off to your employees who might be VAs and they can get it as well. So I think that's probably why it's growing like wildfire.
In one of your other interviews, you've talked a bit about having a smaller portfolio and a larger portfolio. What would you say is a better place to be right now? Somebody with a smaller portfolio of large sites, or a larger portfolio of small sites, or just big, big, or small, small?
Dude, so this, I feel so passionately about this one. So this one is all about, I'm boutique. I run a boutique SEO agency. LeadSpring is like, we only have like 4 or 5 key operators, and we don't manage any more than 10 websites. So I've I've been stung in the past by going wide and trying to have the biggest portfolio possible.
Mhm.
But I truly believe that SEO is challenging enough that when you spread yourself thin and you go for 500,000 websites in your portfolio, there's no way you can give all of them the attention they need.
Mhm.
So I think it's also better for the headspace to only have 10 different things or 5 different things, or even better, 3 or 2 different things to look at. It's not like you've left a bunch of opportunity on the table either. I mean, like Gear Hungry just sold one single website for $12 million. It's not like, oh, you're limiting your possibilities. Like any one of these sites can scale up to skyscraper levels. So I think it's good to get away from that mentality that I need a fleet of websites in order to succeed. It only takes one of them. And then there's also economies of scale, right? So every backlink you build to one website, that powers new content you make all the time. Like, why spread out this goodwill and this effort over multiple websites? You can just leverage one of them to write off the authority. So yeah, you got me fired up.
So, but did you answer the question though? Is that so? You mean stay small? Is that the summary of it? Is that you rather own fewer websites that are big, or do you own smaller websites and try to unload them while you still can? I mean, are you trying to keep the portfolio purposely small with smaller sites, or you're like roll them as big as they can go and I'll ride them until they die?
So we're flipping all the time. So like the websites that we would take on, we'll go in niches that we think can expand a lot. And the sometimes that we do find that we hit limits. So when we feel like we've maxed out a niche, we will sell it. But I won't I definitely would never get into something that's like, I don't know, bestwirelessrouter.com, because that I can only talk about routers. I instead would want to get into like techguru.com. I don't know if that's a real website, but techguru.com. So I can get into routers, I can get into hosting, I can get into VPNs, all this kind of stuff, and try to take that as far as I can go. And then when I hit the limit, then it's time to exit. But I don't think a niche like technology or health or dating is ever going to hit a limit. That these are too wide of topics.
What does it mean to hit a limit?
It's so hard to. I just want to give you an example, but that's not fair to the buyers of the websites I've sold in the past. But like let's say I was in the oh Jesus, like tennis niche or something like that, right? There's only so many things you can talk about with tennis shoes, tennis rackets, how to swing a tennis racket, backhand, forehand, all that kind of stuff. It's going to max eventually. And when you've written all the content and you're ranked for all the keywords, you're maxed out. There's nowhere else you can go there unless you decided, let's try to post a page on golf and see how it does. But then you're risking the relevance of your website.
So why not just hold on to it, just sit back and earn the cash?
Because this isn't a no risk game. So like these, I mean, I'd be interested to see some kind of study. Ahrefs, I'm looking at you, where you take a look and you see how many websites were a lot that were running 10 years ago and doing well. What percentage of those guys are running today doing well? That'd be interesting to see. I just like to de-risk. And when you flip a website, they're going at like 40x monthly profit. So what that means is you've just taken a time machine in the future, 40 months, and collected all that money right now. Mm-hmm. If you can't replace that website with all that cash injection by 40 months, then that's pretty bad, but you likely can. Mm-hmm. I'm almost guaranteeing it.
So are you building sites from scratch right now, or acquiring sites and then working on sites that you've built? So
acquiring.
Yeah.
Acquiring all the time. Yeah. Main reason for that is just my team is expensive. My human resources are expensive. So I don't want to put them on a project that's not really moving along.
But I mean, wouldn't it be cheaper overall to just start something from scratch if you already have all the expertise to basically make what it is that you're buying?
Yeah, so you could register a domain name for $12, right? So that's the cost of starting the website. But to get from point A to point B, that's content and links, right? So let's say that's another $10,000 you tacked on, something like that. But what most people don't consider is, okay, how about my staff's time that I just put on them for 6 months? So my guys are A players, are paying well. So that could be an extra $50,000, right? To put them on the project. Now we're looking at, it's about 60 grand in order to get from point A to point B. How about I just pay that 60 grand right now, or hopefully even less, and I start at point B? And it's good for company culture and morale too, to always be working on websites that are chugging along and always getting gains.
So, and I think we've all had that experience though, starting a new website that doesn't go anywhere. And yeah, it feels like Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill. Like, is this ever gonna work? You know, and I do agree though that buying a site that's already working then provides you with some assurance that at least, yes, this niche, this topic is going to work. Like, it gives you a place to start from.
Yeah, and hopefully you buy a site that's legit working currently. Like, it has keywords on page 1. It is increasing traffic. So it's like, it's definitely proven it's visible.
Right on, right on. Well, I've kept you for 45 minutes and I could probably talk to you for hours, like literally
Likewise.
hours, but I don't want to suck up all your time. Where should people look to find you if they want to know more about you or your products? And I'd never even let you finish telling your story. So if you want to tell us anything more about you and where we can find you, I'd love to hear it.
No, so there's nothing cool about the story except the dance battles, which you covered already. So check out diggitymarketing.com. That's my main blog and that's my main brand. And you see me blogging about super nerdy SEO stuff, so mostly on affiliate topics. And after that, Chiang Mai SEO Conference, if you're interested in coming to Chiang Mai, and Affiliate Lab, if you want to learn affiliate SEO. If you need backlinks, Authority Builders.
That's right. So you have other agencies that have other service. You do what? Just tell us really quick about your other companies before you go.
Yeah. Okay. Diggity Marketing, the head brand. I do consulting underneath that, and the Chiang Mai SEO Conference happens underneath that. And then we have LeadSpring. LeadSpring is completely building, ranking, flipping, monetizing affiliate websites. After that, the Search Initiative. So this is my client-facing agency where we do the SEO for you. Authority Builders, where we provide outreach links. And then after that, the Affiliate Lab, teaching SEO.
So when do you sleep?
That usually happens at night, but I think, as I've learned, it's not going to happen much anymore when the baby comes.
Oh, but you'll be dad, and your job will be to change the diapers and make the dinner, and it won't be so bad, I promise.
Boy, let's see.